She stood quietly in the corner of the training yard, her boots sinking into the dirt as the others laughed. From the very first day of boot camp, she was an easy target. Smaller than most, calm when everyone else shouted. She didn't fit the image of what the others thought a soldier should be. The jokes started softly, whispered between push-ups and drills, then grew louder as the weeks went on. They called her weak, said she didn't belong here, that she would never make it through. Every smirk, every shove, every mocking laugh was meant to break her spirit, but she never once reacted. She just kept training, eyes focused forward, as if she was holding on to something bigger than all of them. The commander had noticed too. He wasn't one to get involved in petty teasing, but he saw the way the group treated her. To him, she was just another recruit, quiet, stubborn, but nothing out of the ordinary. At least, that's what he thought. Because what none of them knew was that she carried a story on her back, one that she had kept hidden under her uniform. A story etched into her skin with ink. A reminder of where she came from and who she truly was. It happened on a hot afternoon after a long march. The recruits were ordered to remove their jackets, sweat dripping down their faces. She hesitated, her hands trembling slightly as she pulled hers off. For the first time, the others caught a glimpse of the tattoo spread across her back. The laughter that had filled the yard moments before suddenly fell silent. The commander's eyes locked on the design, and his expression shifted instantly. His face went pale, his voice caught in his throat. The recruits stared, confused, waiting for him to say something, but he couldn't. He knew exactly what that tattoo meant, why she had carried it into boot camp, and in that moment, everything changed. The silence stretched longer than anyone expected. The other recruits shifted uncomfortably, whispering under their breath, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. It wasn't just a tattoo, it was a symbol, bold and precise, the kind of mark that didn't belong to random ink on skin. It was something with meaning, something that demanded respect. The commander's eyes stayed fixed on it, as if he were staring into a memory he had tried to bury years ago. She didn't turn around, didn't explain. She simply stood there, her back exposed, letting the weight of the moment hang heavy in the air. The recruits who had mocked her most went quiet first, their faces pale with confusion. They had expected weakness, not this. They had expected someone to break down. Not someone who carried a story none of them understood. The commander finally cleared his throat, but his voice was strained. He gave no explanation to the group, no orders, nothing at all. Instead, he told them to resume their drills, though his eyes lingered on her longer than they ever had before. The others kept glancing her way as they moved, their curiosity burning hotter with every passing minute. That night in the barracks, the whispers grew. Some said the tattoo was military, something tied to a secret unit. Others thought it was a family crest connected to someone powerful. No one dared ask her directly. She kept to herself, silent, her face calm as always. Yet behind her quiet strength, there was a story no one could ignore. The commander knew it better than anyone else. And though he tried to hide it, the way his jaw tightened whenever he saw her made it clear whatever that tattoo meant. It was about to change everything for everyone at the camp. Training continued. But nothing felt the same after that afternoon. The recruits who once mocked her now kept their distance, her eyes flicking to her back whenever they thought she wasn't looking. Some of them grew uneasy, almost nervous, as if the tattoo had transformed her into someone entirely different overnight. Others whispered that she was hiding a secret past, maybe even a connection to people far more powerful than the commander himself. The commander tried to maintain his composure, barking orders and running drills as if nothing had changed. But his hesitation betrayed him. Every time she lined up with the group, he paused for a split second longer, studying her, calculating. His mind wasn't on the push-ups or marches anymore, it was on that symbol and what it meant. He had seen it before, long ago, worn by people who were not ordinary soldiers. It carried a history of loyalty, sacrifice, and something darker that few dared to speak about. Meanwhile, the recruits began to divide among themselves. A few grew curious, wanting to earn her trust, sensing she might know things that could help them survive the brutal weeks ahead. Others grew resentful, convinced she was given special treatment, even though she never asked for it. The tension in the barracks simmered like a storm waiting to break. Late one night, as the camp settled into uneasy silence, two recruits whispered about sneaking into the records office. They were determined to learn who she really was. If the commander wasn't going to explain, they would find out on their own. At the same time, another group quietly planned to confront her directly. Tired of the mystery and fearful of what secrets she might be hiding. And while they plotted, she sat alone at the edge of her bunk, sharpening her focus for the next day, her face unreadable. The tattoo was not just a marquette, was a promise. And soon, everyone in that camp would discover why the commander could not hide his. Fear. The air in the camp grew heavier with each passing day. Every drill, every march, every order felt like it was leading to something none of them could see, but everyone could feel. The tattoo had become more than a mystery. It was a shadow hanging over the entire unit. The recruits pushed harder than ever, but their glances never strayed far from her. Some looked at her with suspicion, others with quiet respect, but no one dared to laugh anymore. The commander's behavior only fueled the tension. His voice was sharp, his commands louder, but his eyes betrayed a constant unease. He avoided being alone with her. Yet, when he had no choice, his posture stiffened, his jaw tightened. And he treated her with a caution no other recruit received. It didn't go unnoticed. Rumors spread like wildfire. They whispered that she was tied to an elite force, one even commanders had to bow to. Others said her tattoo carried a warning, a sign of something dangerous that should never have entered the camp. At night, the barracks buzzed with restless energy. The two recruits who had planned to sneak into the records office made their move, slipping out under the cover of darkness. Their hearts pounded as they searched for answers, convinced the truth was hidden in old files. At the same time, the group who had sworn to confront her waited for their chance, whispering their questions, rehearsing accusations. The tension was no longer just about hurt, was pulling the entire camp apart. Then came the breaking point. During a grueling obstacle course, she stumbled for the first time. Mud covered her hands, her uniform clung to her skin, and for a moment, everyone saw her as human again. But when she rose, steady and unshaken, the tattoo became visible once more beneath the torn fabric. The commander froze mid-shout. His face drained of color, his body rigid as if he were staring at a ghost. The recruits stopped in their tracks, eyes darting between her and the man who led them. The silence was deafening, the suspense unbearable. Something was about to break, and no one in that camp would be the same when it did, just as the tension reached its peak. A sharp whistle cut through the air, snapping everyone out of their frozen stares. A new figure appeared at the edge of the training yard, someone none of the recruits had seen before. Dressed in a black, tactical uniform and moving with authority, the newcomer's eyes scanned the group before landing on her. For a moment, time seemed to stop. The commander's face went even paler, his hands trembling slightly. He stepped forward, but his voice caught. The recruits whispered furiously among themselves, trying to guess who this stranger could be. The woman's back tattoo, now fully visible in the afternoon sun, seemed to ignite a reaction in the newcomer. Her expression softened, but only for a moment, before hardening into something unreadable. The tension that had been simmering for weeks snapped like a wire. Suddenly, it wasn't just about boot camp bullying or whispered rumors anymore. Something much bigger was at play. Something that reached far beyond the training ground. The commander stepped closer, lowering his voice into urgent tones, but the newcomer ignored him entirely. All eyes were on her, the quiet recruit who had been mocked and underestimated from day one. Every movement, every glance felt like a challenge. The recruits felt it too, a dangerous energy radiating from her, and from the stranger watching her. They realized that whatever secrets the tattoo held, they weren't just personal. They were part of a story that could change the fate of everyone at the camp. Even more unsettling, the two recruits who had sneaked into the records office returned, panting and wide-eyed. They had found documents, old reports, and photos linking her to missions no one at boot camp could even imagine. The stakes had shifted overnight. The camp wasn't just a test of strength or endurance anymore, it was a powder keg. And the fuse had just been lit. Everyone felt it. The whispered rumors, the commander's fear. The stranger's sudden arrival at all pointed to one thing: nothing in the camp would ever be the same. And the truth behind her tattoo was about to explode into the open. The air was thick with tension as the newcomer finally stepped forward, her boots crunching against the dirt. Every recruit held their breath. The commander's voice trembled as he finally